Welcome to Blake Street Banter, where one of us knows what the word banter means. The other two are just along for the ride. I have Tyler, somebody that blogs for us, with us today. Tyler, say what's up.
How's it going, guys? First time hopping on the podcast, so I'm real excited.
Let's do this. And then we got Stephen Rice from the Fresno Grizzlies, who, in his own words, is just a Swiss Army knife of things down there. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. We were just talking about it. Like, the Fresno Grizzlies have the most hope that of any organization in this Rockies affiliates, and you just get to sit there and watch it every single day.
It is so much fun. I literally live and breathe some of the best players I've ever seen come through Fresno. I mean, we were a AAA affiliate for a long time, but now here at SingleA, these guys, just seeing the young exuberance ability is just unbelievable. And to just watch it and actually just be mesmerized by how talented these 19 to 25-year-olds are, it's unbelievable to watch.
You got to see something pretty cool last night, right? Did you see that?
Oh, I saw it last night. It was Zac Veen's home run. Oh,
that's
yeah.
What we're talking about, baby. How sweet was that?
I mean, for me, I didn't think that ball was going to initially get over, just because the trajectory of it was kind of doing like a little arch kind of thing. I was like, please just get a little bit farther. So everyone was kind of at the edge of their seats. And then when it went out, everyone hands up in the air. We started celebrating. It was a good time. But I think the biggest thing afterwards was the kids' reaction who got the initial ball, and then the trade that happened so then they could give the ball to Zac Veen, I think was worth every penny.
I saw a little bit about that. What ended up being the trade?
Yeah, I mean, so what really happened is our marketing manager, Jonathan, who you've talked to before,
Johnny,
he came through and got the ball from the kids and said, hey, Zac Veen really would like this ball. And so I think it ended up being a broken bat, a signed baseball, and a hat on top of it too. So I think the guys came out with some swag afterwards. But I think the biggest thing too is Zac Veen got to do it on Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a win for the kid. I mean, obviously you want the value of that ball, but I mean, for Veen, that's one of the most important things in the world now. First pro home run.
I mean, it's been a while for him to try to get there. And I mean, we've been asking every day, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? The guy, does so many different things. And so we're like, all right, well, where's that first home run? And I think finally he can kind of breathe and go, all right, I've done what I wanted to do. Now I can go back to start hitting line drives again to the gaps and start, getting going. And the home runs are going to come. I mean, it's not one of those things where you're going to hit a home run every game. And this team is starting to finally figure it out, from Zac Veen to Drew Romo to Julio Carreras.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we saw it at the major league level with Brendan Rodgers just about 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago. He hit his first career home run, and since then he's just seemed so much more in his zone. Like, looks like Brendan Rodgers, the guy that we've seen for 6 years in the minors. So I hope the same goes with. Well, Veen's been comfortable this whole time, drawing a lot of walks, but hopefully we see the power show up, because when he's drafted, you see scouts are talking about his swing like Cody Bellinger. You expect the loft, the home runs. So hopefully we see more of that to come.
Oh, he's got plenty of power left in him. The good thing too is that, especially when he gets upper, to the upper levels, especially in like Albuquerque, that's a hitter-friendly ballpark. So you're going to see a lot of home runs when he gets down the line. But for him to start getting the power here, it's great. I just hope that he continues to not shy away from what he's done, drawing walks, getting on base, stealing bases. I mean, so he has so many different abilities, and I just hope he doesn't go away with it from that first home run.
Yeah. We wanted to ask. He leads the low A West in stolen bases. So what do you see from him on the bases? Is he really that fast, or what's going on there?
Lightning McVeen. Trust me, it is a thing. It is unbelievable. He is as fast as it comes. But what I really like about it is his ability to read the pitch. The guy takes a great secondary lead and then just takes off on it too. And his awareness of exactly where the catcher is going to get the ball, knowing the situation. I mean, the guy is fast, but I think it's more of his awareness on the base pass in general, knowing the situation.
It goes back to when he stole home probably a month ago, I think.
Yeah.
I did some research on it because I wasn't able to watch it. But the minor league has that new rule, the low A, with the 2 pickoffs per at bat. Yeah. So my initial reaction, well, did he steal it on his own, or was it because of this silly, stupid little rule that, MLB wants to try to incorporate? He stole it all on his own. It was all him.
It's a mix of both. I think it's a mix of both. I mean, I think his ability to be aware of what the pitcher had been doing, consistently stepping off, but then on top of it too, the guy had thrown 3 straight off speed pitches. So Veen's going, all right, well, even if it's an off speed pitch, I could probably get in there at some point. and try to make a play out of it. But yeah, a couple pickovers, you take advantage of the rule. The team has done a great job all season doing that. I mean, we lead the low A West with 79 stolen bases as a team, and we have over 30 in 36 attempts over our past 12 games. So the guys are taking advantage of that rule, but they're also aware of what's going on as well.
Do you think that that's kind of a coaching thing, or really just comes down to these guys individually as smart baseball players? Because we've seen with Tovar, and I think Daniel Montano stealing bags too. Just like you were saying, lots of guys stealing.
This team is one of the smartest group of guys I've ever met. I mean, I just talked about the other day. Drew Romo is 19 years old, and he has a better IQ than I do, and I have a college degree. And I'm sitting there going, "What? How do you become that smart, that young, so fast?" And yeah, it's a mix of coaching, but these guys are so smart. They understand the situation too, and they do the research. The analytics are unbelievable when it comes to it. And a lot of the big stuff they do is base pass and stealing bases.
So you're 19 years old. You have him, Veen, Tovar, you have a handful of others. Like, these 19-year-olds are just doing their thing down there. Is that because they came in like this, or is there the staff really focusing in on this and having one-on-one sessions on analytics and whatnot? Like, how are these 19-year-olds doing this?
I mean, first, it is analytics. I mean, these guys are having meetings. They're taking, little charts of, all right, well, this is where this pitcher throws a specific pitch. This is where the catcher does on certain times when this guy is pitching. They have all these specific numbers. So they have these group meetings with the coaching staff of saying, all right, here's how we want to attack this pitcher. Yesterday we didn't draw any walks. The day before we drew 7. So it's different days of how they want to attack pitchers. The guy yesterday throws a lot of strikes. So, all right, so we're going to swing early in counts, try to get going, try to get ahead of pitches. While the guy the other day, there was a lot of, junk early in the count. So let's wait back a little bit, finer pitch and get going on it. And it's the same thing on, stealing bases too. All right, so the catcher we're seeing today has this specific pop time. When he has a specific pitch with this pitcher, he doesn't make a throw. All right, we can steal on this pitch. Or, 2-0, the guy has an X% of throwing this pitch. All right, we can take off on this pitch. And so these guys are not just only using the analytics, but they're getting together with the staff and coming up with a game plan. And it works great. I mean, last night, yeah, it's the end of the homestand, but these guys are literally spending 2 hours after the game making sure that they're getting all the correct stuff through the coordinators of making sure that they find all the little tactics correct. Grant Lavigne's on a 12-game hit streak, and he was there for 2 hours afterwards working on his swing. The guy's on a 12-game hit streak. What do you need to work on right now?
But that's super exciting because, like, these guys just want to get better and they're doing everything they can. Like, I talked to Mike Susan of the Isotopes, the play-by-play guy up there, and he was talking about Valade doing his thing and spending time out in the outfield, trying to adjust from being infield, outfield, and he's taking fly balls, and he's already grown tremendously just with that extra work in these 2-3 months of the season. And so for me, that's super exciting. Like we said, the talent's there. How are we building that talent? What are we doing that from talent? And I'm a little nervous in asking this. Is that analytics from the Grizzlies staff, or is that coming from the Colorado Rockies?
It's the Rockies.
Are you sure?
Yes, it is the Rockies.
Okay, I gotta get clarification.
Yeah, it's the Rockies. I mean, all we do is we want to make sure that they get it printed out. I mean, that's really all we do is just printing out the stuff. We, as the Grizzlies, we're just very fortunate to have them play for us and show their ability, and we just watch it happen. All we do is just have a little printer aspect with it, but the Rockies do all the hard work.
Okay. I was about to ask the same question too, because I think the Rockies, some of it might be a little unfair that they've gotten this reputation for being kind of the Stone Age team in approaching the game. And again, I think some of that might be unfair. Some of that might be justified, but it's good to hear that, there's an organizational emphasis on using analytics to impact strategy, because we all see with teams like the Tampa Bay Rays, that's what the game is about right now, is really figuring out how you can use numbers to give you an advantage. So yeah, I like to hear that.
It's a lot of fun to look at the numbers too, and there's so many different aspects to look at it. I mean, I spend hours a day just looking at the statistics, and it's just mind-boggling to me the amount of data that comes through with it. I mean, it literally looks like a playbook that they're running through right now. I mean, it really kind of feels like it's Drew Lock at the helm, but it's the Rockies.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So would you say you're a stat head? Like, do you ever bring that into your pieces of the job? Like,
Oh yeah.
I see that you kind of do some weekend broadcasting. Do you try to put that in there?
Oh yeah, I mean, I try to get everything going. I want people to understand that I am the biggest baseball junkhead in the universe. I mean, that's probably one of the reasons I'm single, is because I'm such a baseball junkhead that I'm in love with the game more than I can be in love with anybody else, kind of thing. So yeah, I make sure I get into every little thing I do, put it through the game notes, put it through the game summary, put it into broadcasts. You have to put in there every chance you get.
Yeah, I love to hear that philosophy too, because I think us as Rockies fans, we see the AT&T crew, and it's always a welcome sight when you've got someone like Ryan Spielborgs who's talking about called strike whiff percentage, because that's like a new statistic that teams and scouts alike have been starting to use. But we see with some of the broadcasts, it's very much like looking at just RBI as like a key indicator of success. But there's a lot of other things going on. So love to see, yeah, the analytical focus.
It's so much fun to watch, and the one thing that I always find interesting, especially when it comes to the hitting numbers, is the OPS aspect. People don't realize how much OPS really plays in everything. And so, you look at a guy's average. So for instance, Veen coming into the game yesterday was hitting 232, but his OPS is in the 800s.
Mhm.
And so people go, well, how is that possible? He's hitting 232, he's doing awful. No, no, no. He gets on base, he walks, hit
Yeah.
by pitches, he has deep at bats. I mean, the guy does all the little abilities to get on base. Yeah, it's great if a guy goes 3 for 5 and has a couple home runs. Yeah, it looks awesome. But at the same time, too, it also looks great too when you can go maybe 0 for 2, but have 3 walks, 3 stolen bases, and score 3 times. It just adds up in the long run.
Yeah, because I think you see with players, like, you can hit the ball, you can be a high contact guy, but you're not always going to have, I don't know if I want to call it luck, because I don't know how much luck there really is, but you're not going to get hits. You make the same contact and you might not get a hit one time, you might get a hit another time, but you draw 4 balls and that's a walk every time. That's a very stable like way to produce. And so when you see a guy like Zac Veen who's walking all like crazy, he's walking like over 15% of the time. That's a very stable skill, and you know that that's going to translate as he's going through the minors. Whereas the guy that walks 5% of the time and is just putting the ball in play a lot, he's going to slump more often because he's going to find gloves. And yeah,
I mean, even just talking about it too, not just Zac Veen, but also with Drew Romo. Romo didn't have a lot of walks prior to coming into this week. And I know one thing he was working on was actually being patient at the plate and finding your pitch before driving it. He's thrown 4 walks in the past 6 games, and he only had 2 coming into this week. So the guy is finding little ability too. These guys are improving in aspects that they weren't very strong at coming into it. And it just shows what the coaches can do, but it also shows what the players are willing to put in on an everyday basis. It's so much fun to watch, guys.
Are you going to be okay when they all move up?
No, I'm not gonna lie. Every time I see a new transaction come through, I cry a little bit because it's one less person I get to talk about on an everyday basis. I mean, when we officially called up Mitchell Kilkenny and Findo Bonta-Smith, I mean, it hurt my heart right here. Going, we just lost one of our best strike throwers. We lost one of our best relievers. But this is what it's all about: is developing
Right.
these players to get to the next level. So the job's getting done, and all I can say is, enjoy it now, Fresno fans. Enjoy it now, Rockies fans, because they're now going up to Spokane. They're going up to Hartford. They're going up to Albuquerque, and they will be in a Rockies uniform very soon.
well, and just a little aside, like, do you take a fair amount of time to look at like MLB draft scouting and things like that to know who's going to be coming through Fresno in a year or two?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest things that I think that a lot of people don't really realize is now that we're at this level, we do get these guys from the draft. So for me specifically, I've always been a draft guy over the years, seeing guys like Alex Bregman getting drafted out of LSU. I watched Mitchell Kilkenny get drafted out of Texas A&M and being like, wow, I actually now get to, meet this guy that I watched get drafted just a couple of years ago. And so I definitely keep an eye on what's going on. The question is, how many of those guys are going to actually go straight to the Arizona, fall league and practice a little bit versus come to here? But I'm gonna tell you right now, if we get Kumar Rocker or Jack Leiter, oh come on, it's game set match in Fresno.
I think there might be something wrong if either one of those guys drop to us, but I'm on.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
on
going to talk
with
about
you.
it in our podcast a little bit later this week, but like seeing a lot of mock drafts and what people are talking about, I think there's at least a chance that Kumar Rocker is available at 8 for the Rockies, and I mean, he might go straight to Fresno, so that would be pretty cool.
It would be awesome. At the same time, too, I mean, with the talent ability that he has, he might just skip Fresno and go straight to Spokane or Hartford, the way the guy has been dominating at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that play out. What's that? It's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
A couple weeks. Let me just
July.
tell you this. It's going to be crazy just to see all the different transactions or how guys are going to react with new guys coming in. It'll be fun to see the gel come through together with these guys.
I wanted to ask you, has that been difficult for you specifically going from AAA minor league affiliate to the SingleA affiliate? It's like just switching some things around for you personally with that in mind?
I mean, I think that for me, the biggest thing is we still hold ourselves to a AAA major league value. Everything that we do at the Grizzlies, we want to make sure we do it to the highest level, no matter what level we're at, whether it's from our marketing, from our media relations, from our social media, from our game entertainment, from how we sell tickets. We want to make sure that we still bring the highest level ability. But for my job, I think it's actually a lot easier being at SingleA versus AAA in the sense of the limited transactions. Just talking to Albuquerque, they have 3-4 transactions a day from guys getting called up and down from injuries and so on. I've had 17 total transactions this year, and transactions are not fun in general. So having to deal with that every day versus maybe once a week, it makes my life a little bit easier. At the same time, too, though, we still hold ourselves to that AAA value.
Yeah, that's good. Putting you on the spot here. So can you get Dick Monfort on the phone and set up a presser? We see that you both went to UNC. I see on your resume you set up press conferences, and we just haven't heard from him. I don't know if you have any connection with that.
I would have to go through a couple different connections. Don't know how well that would work. At the same time, too, you got to rock the Bears. Once a Bear, always a Bear. Go UNC.
And we wanted to ask, like, at your time there, did you cross paths with him at all?
Yeah, we crossed paths once, and it was actually when I went for my visit at UNC. I went just to check out baseball and stuff like that with my dad, and he was there, and just to be able to talk a little bit of baseball was a lot of fun. But I don't think he'll remember me, but it's always cool seeing that we're now a part of the same aspect. And at the same time, too, having the same background at UNC it's a complete blessing.
So Dick, if you're listening, you go ahead and reach out to Steven down in Fresno. Let's bring it back to baseball. The staff in Fresno is good. Like you just said, Kilkenny, Etheridge, and our boy Dugan Darnell got the call up to Spokane. What are you seeing from players like Weatherly, Ruff, Eusebio? What's really standing out to you on the mound? How they carry themselves on and off? Like you see these young guys, these 19-year-olds, and then you see these like 23, 24-year-olds. Like, just what do you see, man?
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, I'm so happy to have all these guys on our team and just be able to interact with these players and seeing their personalities come out on an everyday basis is an absolute grateful blessing. But the first thing, so Braylon Eusebio is an absolute stud. I'm going to tell you right now, he won't be with Fresno much longer. He has shown everything he's capable of doing. This guy, to be honest, could pitch at the AA level, AAA level right now and dominates. The guy throws strikes, the guy gets out, and he's consistent. You'll usually see about 5 to 6 innings, 5 to 7 Ks. The guy's going to walk maybe 1 to 2 batters, not allow a lot of home runs. The guy does all the little things correctly too. And his IQ is brilliant too. He actually is also our translator for the guys who actually don't have a lot of English ability speaking wise yet. So he's our guy that allows us to talk to guys like Eddie Diaz, Julio Carreras, who are still learning the English language too. So the guy is not only a leader, but he's a guy that actually helps out us and also the team at the same time too. Mike Ruff, the guy is so talented. Root for Ruff. You've probably seen on our social media pages. It's something that the team wanted us to go for the guy. The guy is soft-spoken, but he carries a big arm, throws the ball really well, does the job really well too. The biggest thing for Ruff is he's a strikeout guy. 8 to 11 Ks usually per game. The guy gets a lot of swing and misses, really good breaking ball. But what I really like about Mike Ruff is he gets the job done. He leaves it up to the bullpen. The bullpen doesn't have to do a lot of work with him, and he gets wins. And then Sam Weatherly, the guy is maturing every single day. Still has to throw, has to learn the ability to throw more strikes. But the guy has so much spin ability on that off-speed pitch that you'll see a lot of swing and misses. The guy 95 to 96, so the fastball gets past guys at this level easily. the biggest thing for Weatherly is just maturing and the growth. As we said, yeah, he's a baby. So the guy still has a lot to learn, but he'll be here probably for the full year. That's my guess. I mean, I don't know what they see for the future, but if he does get a call up to Spokane and Hartford, have fun with the kid.
When it's good to hear the insight on Eusebio, because he's had far from an orthodox traditional path through the minors. Like had Tommy John, I think 2 years ago, and then with the absence of last year's minor league season, he didn't really get to start going again. But he's someone who's been prominent in the system for a long time, and I was kind of surprised to see him starting in Fresno rather than in Spokane, and surprised he hasn't gotten that Spokane promotion yet. But it's good to hear really positive reviews about him, because I do like his arm a lot and what he brings to the mound.
You know, to be honest, I see a lot of, but from a lefty point of view, a Sensatella aspect where he throws a lot of strikes, gets the job done, can get you consistent innings. So, I mean, I see a guy that could be a 3-4 man rotation in a couple years down the line too. And yeah, as you said, a little bit kind of a weird setup. I mean, the guy signed when he was 17 years old, so he's been in the league a lot longer than a lot of people have. But yeah, when you're don't have baseball for a couple years, him, Kilkenny, where you go through Tommy John, you have no season, trying to get back into it. You start him at a lower level to get him back into the groove again. And then when they're ready, they get to the next level.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, I was just looking at some of his stats. He's looking good. The 2.66 ERA, 9 starts. It's pretty much a little bit over a strikeout an inning. Like he's got it. It's pretty cool. I like that.
And the team's 7-2 with it, and his quality starts too. He has 6 quality starts. He leads the team in both those categories. The guy finds ways to win, and the team gives him run support, about 3.5 runs per game.
You are a stat guy.
Mentioned him, obviously he's translating and stuff, which you mentioned is kind of a leadership aspect to connect certain players of different backgrounds. Who else on the roster kind of stands out to you in these leadership maverick kind of roles?
It's weird saying this, but Drew Romo really does a great job actually being a leader. And he's one of those guys too, especially when you see him on the field. He commands the field very well. And as a catcher, you're supposed to command the field, but he does it very, very well in the sense of everyone kind of listens and understands situations. There was a play yesterday, and to be honest, the ball should have, most guys will throw the ball all the way and let the ball go through. And he's yelling, cut it off. And you can hear it all the way on the third level press box. And so the guy is outspoken. People listen to him. It's a lot of fun to watch too. The other guy is Ezekiel Tovar, and another 19-year-old running the field. Like, come on now. It's so much fun to watch too. And these guys are getting put into leadership roles because they do see that ability in these guys at their age. And that just speaks to not only the levels of their ability, but also the trust the coaching staff has in them.
Yeah, that's gotta be so much fun seeing those young guys just take ownership. Like, that's an unwritten characteristic. I think just people forget about, just that you're a ball player, you have the talent, and then what's your mental game like? How are you as a leader? How are you as a follower? Because we need followers too. But like, how do you do that well? And I think that goes unnoticed by a lot of people. And hearing this from our studs like Tovar and Romo, I'm down.
It's crazy too, because yeah, you see the physical ability these guys have, but this is probably one of the smartest baseball teams I've ever been a part of. And it just shows not only what the Rockies have done in the draft or what they've done signing, international free agents, but also what the coaching staff has done is getting them mentally prepared. Seeing these guys every day, there's smiles on their face. I've not seen one guy in this team pout at any point this season. And, their willingness to do specific aspects and their willingness to want to talk to us and want to talk to the fans and interact with each other. It's so much fun to watch. I mean, I run down just to drop off stats to these guys, and I walk past Ezekiel Tovar, and it's a big smile on his face. And he goes, "You ready for today?" And it's like, dude, like, you got a game, like, get your game face on. No, it's a smiling face. It's enjoyment. They love being at the ballpark every single day. And it shows on the field too. They're winning. They're having a blast. You've probably seen some of our social media posts. They're dancing in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Guys, what the heck? What's going on in Fresno? It's something in the water, I guess.
You're not supposed to have fun while doing this. Come on now.
Yeah, right. It's a job. What are you doing?
Well, I really love to hear that sense of like unity with the team, because we've seen it with the Rockies, not too recently, but you had the most recent kind of new generation of big leaguers like McMahon, Story, David Dahl, Ryan McMahon. Like those guys really form really tight bonds in the minor leagues, playing at different levels together. And I think that does, you can't quantify necessarily how much of an impact that has, but I think you see that it does. You see the Fresno Grizzlies, one of the best teams in the minors, just in terms of winning percentage. And I think a lot of that does come down to that unity factor.
Oh yeah, and it just speaks to the ability that our manager Robinson Cancel instills in this team. He makes sure that these guys are excited every single day, keeps a good demeanor, making sure that these guys understand little aspects. Steve Solis, our development supervisor, does a great job of getting these guys ready, puts them in the right mindsets. Nick Wilson, he was a player just a couple of years ago, and now is teaching some of the best prospects different abilities and just seeing their teaching aspect. And then we have one of the best pitching coaches in baseball, Mark Brewer. The guy has so much knowledge, and he's teaching these 19, 20-year-olds how to be able to pitch to get ready to the next level. As I said before, Juan Mejia is 20 years old, and the guy's pitching as if he's 25, 26. And it just shows what these coaches have done to these players. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and would you mind talking more on Eusebio Tovar? Like what on the field, because you spoke about him a little bit in the clubhouse, really positive guy on the field, because he's been performing this year defensively and offensively. What things really stand out to you most about his game?
First of all, defensively, the guy does, I mean, I hate comparisons to specific players, especially guys who are Hall of Famers or soon to be Hall of Famers too, but he makes plays like Derek Jeter, getting, going into the hole, backhand, and making a throw over to first base. You don't see stuff like that. You saw it from Derek Jeter. Troy Tulowitzki, bringing up a former Rocky. They're seeing plays defensively that it's like, how are you making this play as a 19-year-old? His range, especially going into the third base hole, is unbelievable. And his arm is a cannon. The guy just, he makes a throw look easy. I mean, I don't know the exact registry of how hard he's throwing the ball to first base, but it's something that is probably a lot harder than most of our pitchers can throw, just his arm talent on top of it. But what I like about him is his ability to use his voice to making sure that everyone's in the right spot. When it's a pop-up, you can hear mine, mine, mine. When it's, guys getting in position, hey, cut off 2 to the right, 2 to the left. You're hearing him making sure that he's putting his guys in the right position and get ready with it. And that's just the defensive side of things. And then offensively, the guy does all the little things correctly, but his power is something that I think is spectacular, and it's to all fields. 6 home runs, 31 RBIs. The guy leads the team in multi hits, multi RBIs. He's had a bunch of different hit streaks this season, 3 5-game hit streaks at different points this year. The guy finds all the ability to get on base. You'll see usually 2 to 3, 2 for 3, 2 for 4 lines for him per night. And it's fun to watch. And the guy understands what he is good at hitting, and he's willing to go after it. And he doesn't strike out a lot too.
Lots of things to look forward to.
Yeah.
And hearing about
I
him,
really like him.
Him and Romo as these young leaders is really exciting. At their age to be doing what they're doing, it's pretty special. So I can't wait to see the national attention that those guys really start to get.
Well, what I'm afraid of is if the Rockies have a great year in the next couple of years, and these guys are still developing the minors, and they decide to go trade for it, I know, but it's something that my little heart always worries about. It's like, don't trade these guys. We love them. Keep them here.
That's the bad part about fandom, right? Like, we're fan of the Rockies, but then we start falling in love with these players, and then you don't want those players. Like, we're a huge B-Rod account. Like, me personally, but that was my first person I ever saw get drafted on TV for the Rockies. Like, that was the first time I just sat down, watched the draft, and it was B-Rod. And so I have that, and like, he was the name, and now he's here. Now we might rebuild. What happens here? And so, yeah, it just hurts. It like stings a little bit when you see those players leave your team that
Yeah, and 2019, I got to interview B-Rod, and it was one of the coolest interviews in the universe. The guy is so personable, so much fun, and come on now, the flow. Come on now.
There's a little bit of a swag to it, man.
I don't have much going on here, but the guy rocks it. I mean, it's like, come on now.
Yeah, you can tell he really takes a lot of time and effort into having the swag and the style. The way he's out there on the field, you're like, if I was like still like a kid growing up with baseball dreams, it'd be like, I want to be like Brendan Rodgers.
The swag too, though, on the Grizzlies staff, Eddie Diaz, he's got the chains going. It's always popping for him. You know, you see Vladimir Restituyo, he's always posting on Instagram about his swag. Both those guys really know how to get going. So, you know, we might have it with Brendan Rodgers in the big leagues, and we have it in other levels too. But the Grizzlies still have those guys as well. So be ready for more swag coming through the system.
Just the swag development down here. Speaking of swag, these uniforms you have down there, what's your favorite?
The all red. Oh my
I
gosh.
knew you were gonna say that.
I don't, you know, it's so
Those are
funny
sick, man.
because like this is the first year that we've seen the all red, and these guys are so photogenic, but seeing these pictures that come through from Zac Veen to Mateo Gil, oh my gosh, they rock these red uniforms. The problem about the red uniforms is that we haven't won a lot with them. So it's like, you know, I'm superstitious. It's like, all right, I like them, but we're not doing as well with them. So it's like, what do we do with it? But all the uniforms we have for the Grizzlies, we're so fortunate that our design is great with it. The colors work really well. The scheme works well. And the guys look awesome in it. I mean, Eusebio rocks the black uniform better than anyone I've ever seen. And that just gives an homage to, you know, our park, to Chancey Park, and the casino. So, you know, they do a great job with the uniforms, and these guys just enjoy wearing all of them.
Well, and to change the topic from swag, like just you were mentioning that Eddie Diaz and Restituyo both are swagged out. But I know those two guys are also really fast. Like those are speedy guys. But on the team, who would you say has the most speed? Because I know there's a lot of good athletes on that roster. Who would win the foot race?
Well, first of all, it's not me. I would probably say Eddie Diaz, and the reason why is he just I don't know how he does it, but he just goes. His legs just go. And no offense to Zac Veen. Yeah, Zac Veen leads our team in stolen bases. Yeah, he leads the low A West. But there's something about Eddie Diaz that I see from former Grizzlies and Miles Straw and Kyle Tucker, where their feet just go. And it just, you know, he hits a fly ball to right field, and the guy's on second base before the ball's even caught. It just shows how fast he can get around the base pass. I do want to see the three of them have a race and see what happens too. But I also would throw a dark horse in there too. And a couple of our starting pitchers are pretty fast as well. Eusebio and Sam Weatherly can really get going. So I would love to just see a race at some point this season. And if it comes down to it, maybe Johnny Bravo can get involved in that race as well. So I would probably say Eddie Diaz though.
Okay.
Let's get Bravo out there.
You might have to coordinate a little race for the broadcast or something.
I might have to.
Your sixth inning promotion is the Fresno Grizzlies chasing each other in between the infield.
It would be so much fun to watch too. But what I'm really afraid of, if Eddie Diaz breaks a chain, if he might slow down, have to pick it up, and then lose out to Restituyo or Veen in the long run. So.
Yeah, you know he's picking that up.
Absolutely.
All right, I have a few questions. Let's end it with this. So we asked Bravo, speaking of Bravo, these questions. I don't think you're going to have any problem with these.
Oh, no.
They're Rockies questions, very basic trivia questions. And then I have a few just silly questions about your job and whatnot.
Awesome.
So we asked Bravo in February. Yeah, February. When was the inaugural year of the Colorado Rockies?
1990. No, that's not right. That's not right. 1998 is the only thing that's going to my mind, but that's not right. That's the Diamondbacks. So
1993.
Yeah, I was a little.
Bravo, you're fine. Bravo said 2004.
It
was a little up. Can you name 4/5 all the Blake Street Bombers?
Larry Walker. No, that's all I got for you.
Maybe I gave you too much credit.
Yeah, you gave me a little too much credit. I'm bad. I'm bad at trivia.
Larry Walker, Dante Bichette, Vinny Castillo, Andres Big Cat Galarraga, and then Ellis Burks always gets thrown in there.
Oh yeah,
Bichette. Bichette would have thrown me off. That would have been the one I wouldn't have gone.
And then who's the one Rockies in the Hall of Fame? Okay.
Come on. Do I even need to give an answer? Yeah, there we go.
All right. So your job, you said you're the mascot. You pretty much do absolutely everything. One thing that stood out to me was you create the baseball cards. Like,
I create baseball cards.
What do you do for that? Give me a behind the scenes look on that.
Yeah. So first of all, big shout out to our photographer, Aaron Provencio. He does an amazing job getting these photos of these players during the game. As we said, they're so photogenic. Mateo Gill, Zac Veen, so on and so forth. So he gets these shots for us. He gives it to us that we post onto our Flickr account. You can find Fresno Grizzlies on Flickr. Check out those amazing photos that he takes of us. I find some of our best shots that we have of these players, and there's so many to choose from, guys. Like, I'm literally sitting here going, I don't know which one to choose, guys. It's pretty brutal. But so what I do is just kind of pick, a photo for these guys, and then I take their statistics, whether they've been in the league, for years, like Eusebio, take his stats throughout his career, put him onto the back of a baseball card and give like a little synopsis of these players. Or guys like Zac Veen, who's in his first year, I'll put a little bit of some stuff from this season, do a cutoff date aspect, and then get it all sent off to our card guys, and they make everything look all pretty. We have a really cool design this year, so be on the lookout for those. They will be available hopefully by near the end of the season. I think the hardest thing though is some of these guys might get a baseball card, and some of these guys may not get a baseball card that could be with us. So like, for instance, these cards, because it takes so much to do work for, they go into the system way in advance before the season ends, and so some of these guys are going to get a card that may not be here by the end of the year, or vice versa, that we're going to have a guy and they're not going to be here as well. And so it's kind of just making sure that we try to represent enough Grizzlies aspects with it. So give me a reason why I should keep Dugan Darnell. The guy dominated this year, but at the same time too, he's up dominating with Spokane. Do I put him over some guys that we're adding right now, kind of thing? So it's
the answer
it's
to that is
definitely
yes.
aspect. Yeah.
If you always put Darnell above anybody else.
I love it.
For the future.
He's unbelievable. I love Dugan.
Yeah, we haven't got to meet him yet, but he's been super cool with our one interview back in February, and then just in and out. He's just super humble, super dude on the
He's unbelievable
behind the scenes stuff.
Yes.
You handle ticket. You can share whatever you want. Ticket issues and accounts and stuff. What's the most ridiculous issue you've ever heard?
We had one the other day. This is so funny. So we had a fan call in, and yeah, put in air quotes and all that, and say, why did you guys decide to have games during the hottest time of the year? You guys did a horrible job with your schedule this season. I'm really disappointed by what you guys did, and I'm not coming to a game when it's going to be 100 degrees. You guys need to do a better job. Well, we don't make the schedules, and if we knew it was going to be 110 degrees, I don't think anyone would have guessed that 6 months prior or anything like that. But yeah, we get some pretty crazy requests and pretty crazy things that go on, but being told something like that is it's mind-boggling to me. And it's definitely fun when they claim that they're a fan, but it's like, if you're a true fan, you would understand that we don't make the schedules
at all.
Yeah. And that's baseball. I mean, no one wants to play in 100-degree temperatures, but like it's always that's what happens. Like, especially in the June, July months, you're always getting cooked out there.
Well, and I mean, you think about this too. I mean, there's teams in Colorado Springs, there's teams in Salt Lake where it snows in April. Yeah, they don't want to have games in April when it snows, but it's not their fault that it snowed during that time. Or it rains down in Fredericksburg, Virginia, or it rains down in Palm Beach. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's not our fault that it happens, but and plus Fresno, we're playing hot baseball. It's hot here. It works. Come on now.
It's fun. There it is. And
it kind of makes it more fun. You see the ball flies out during these hot summer months. Yes. So it just adds to the experience. I mean, you might have a few extra drops of sweat on your forehead, but you get to see an extra home run or something.
It's great. And here's the thing too, is the guys do keep cool. We have misters in their dugouts, so they do keep cool in between innings. We do have misters all around our ballpark, so the guys are staying cool too. Plus we have beer bats going for $20 right now. And if you guys ever get down to Fresno, beer bats, come on now, you can't go wrong with it. On top of it too, we also have Dippin' Dots, which are my favorite ballpark food. So
can't go wrong with an afternoon.
No.
This year, I will say I've been totally sold on the Fresno experience. Like, I haven't been to many like minor league stadiums, but like Fresno, just having seen it like kind of intimately as a Rockies fan, I'm like, I have to get out there. Like
you have to. It's so much fun too. Plus, I mean, you have a chance to take a picture with Parker T. Bear, the best mascot in minor league baseball. The guy invited, I mean, his dad yesterday has better dance moves than I do. It's unbelievable to watch.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Steven, for spending your afternoon with us, late morning, and just talking Fresno Griz. We have a lot to look forward to. Again,
Absolutely.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Go Grizzlies.
Thank you for tuning in. Find more content at BlakeStreetBanter.com.